Come on, be live. Live! Let's go! Come on. It's okay. Let's make it happen. Come on, YouTube. There we go. And levels. There we go. And we're live! Okay. We tweeted, we retweeted, we bugged the chat channels. We've got a thing up. We've got graphs. Oh man, what a day. Alright. Ping pong. Oh my god, it's talking in stations. What the hell are you doing here? Alright. And, oh man, the viewership numbers are going to be abysmal tonight. Feel bad that I did not extend our E-Vegas shenanigans. But, yeah. So, just so you guys, all the wonderful, oh, did they actually send real tickets? Holy shit. That'll make my life so much easier. 1 second. Hell yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. Sorry. So, if you guys haven't been catching up, the E-Vegas is up and running. All the pre-show guys are off having fun the night before, talking in stations, having their live show, which I missed most of, unfortunately. Sorry, guys. That's actually really cool that you guys ran it. So I'm not getting dropped frames on my end. Give it a little time to transcode, because we're streaming in 1080, so if it's still shitty in 5 minutes, I will mess with the thing. Actually, I can probably bring down the stream quality just a touch. Let's try an even 4,000. That should be a little bit better. Yeah, so I get to have the marathon of stream tonight, catch a 7 a.m. flight to Vegas, get off the plane, get regged at 11, go to the meetup with Scaris at, oh shit, where is he doing it? At Blondie's, and then the keynote right after that, and then the pub crawl right after that, and then I will be completely dead for Saturday. I still don't know what my Saturday is going to look like per se, but look for this idiot, because I would love to say hi. I'd love to shake hands. I'd love to know if I won you a bunch of money or lost you a bunch of money. Either way, it's great meeting fans. It's amazing meeting fans. And to all of you YouTube people who are complaining about the pre-show being shitty and taking forever, that's just the way the show is designed. So I have equal parts 50-50 between edit the show and make it all pretty, and I'd leave it alone so that I can watch the whole thing and catch up to the whole thing. So we go with the path of least resistance, thanks to YouTube basically covering all the features you'd want. Sorry, I'm not fixing it. It's an extra hour and a half to 2 hours of work, and it doesn't generate. It just doesn't generate the extra clicks and views and content. So call me an asshole if you want, but that's the way it's going to be. But yeah, so I should have some news after E-Vegas about the show. meeting up with Blake Armitage of K162 Space. Hopefully I can get him wrangled into our new little venture. I'm hoping to add some more add some different content to the show, see if we can grow our outreach, increase our brand, all of that good shit. Have some stuff in the works. It's going to be if you've been following the Twitter, if you've been following the blog, it will be inherently obvious, I think. But yeah, the working on some new stuff under the hood. We just put out a blog today about some Python packages that I am absolutely in love with. I put up a Prosper bot. I made a Discord bot with some cool little features in it. Some stuff I've been dying to try forever and ever. And I finally got a chance to play with it, so that was cool. And now I want to go do like 10 other dev projects that don't involve market stuff at this point. I don't know if I should share it yet because there's nothing in it. I just wanted to reserve the names before I lost what a brilliant idea it was. So I was playing with, one of the packages I've wanted to play with for a while is the Natural Language Learning Kit, I think is what it's called, NLTK. And because there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do with plain text that not a lot of people are doing because, well, plain text is scary. And it turns out NLTK is fucking baller. I stood up what's the word for it? A sentiment analyzer that picks the best. So you ask for a stock quote, and it out of a list of 15 picks the most appropriate article that explains the day's movement. So if the price moves up over the course of the day, it will try to find a positive article. If the price moves down during the day, it tries to find a negative article. And it does that all by doing natural language sentiment analysis. And seriously, as brilliant as that sounds, as much of a turbo genius as I might look like for all these big words and stuff, it's seriously like 3 lines of code. It's like initialize the library, make sure that the dictionary's loaded, and score this sentence. It's lightning fast. Like you can just do it in line. It takes less than a 100th of a second to go through every headline, and it's freaking amazing. And now it has me wanting to go work on extending that to build a new Discord bot that I'd like to call OmitBot that listens to a Discord channel, listens to your entire Discord guild, and looks for it. Basically grades everybody and says, okay, this is how each of the members of your community behaves, and then use that as a way to suss out people who are either good or bad in your community. Because as a one-time moderator myself, it gets really, really tiresome to mess with the sort of people who are like, I'm not breaking the rules. I'm just shitting all over your everything. I'm making this place worse for everybody. But you can't ban me. And I would love to see what the data looks like on a whole bunch of gaming guilds, to see if it's at all possible to like weigh good posters and shit posters. And there's a whole bunch of infrastructure that has to go in before I can really do it. I have to figure out how to administer MongoDB. But yeah, that's been my obsession for the last week, has been NLTK. Let's see, what else we got going on? We've got 5 people watching, 6 people watching. Yeah, the viewer rates are going to be abysmal this week because everybody's already drunk and partying at Vegas, and I'm here. Which one popped? And I don't, and you know, there's so like I only scratched the surface. I played with what's called the Vader lexicon, which I don't even know what that does. Like, I didn't go read the papers. I was just like, I want to know if this sentence is positive or negative. That has one function that says positive or negative. Sweet, there we go. But like, one of the things I was trying to dig into before the show, while I was waiting for graphs to render, was like, okay, so if you were getting really social justice warrior about it, right? Like, if you wanted to really, really go to the nines about policing, thought policing, it'd be really useful is to have Urban Dictionary integrated into your NLTK package so that you could also pick up on coded language as long as it's ended up in Urban Dictionary. And unfortunately, that doesn't exist, so I'd probably have to do my own scikit-learn behavior setup thing that digested the thing, and there aren't, and oh god, Urban Dictionary doesn't even have a fucking API, so the scraper would be awful. It'd be freaking awful. But I was like, oh, that'd be so cute, and man, if I could just find, I could get a master's degree for this shit. If I were more into, if I were better motivated, could find somebody to pay for this. I just thought it'd be cool to be like, oh, well, who's the most positive and negative? And like, there's some sentiment analysis stuff that just comes right out of the box, and it's easy to do. It'd be easy to generate a lot of data, so you could make some pretty decent, pretty decent skews to figure out like grading on times and dates and games and individuals. Like, there are a lot of facets you could play with, and it just seemed like a cool thing to do. So it has to go to the bottom of my queue, but I don't want it to. I really want to work on it, and because my frustration is, so I'm going to tangent really hard. We're already way on the tangent, so we're going to keep going into the weeds. So a few months back, I was at a talk that was talking about grading peer-to-peer lending applicants for default risk. And the guy spends the first half of the talk saying, okay, well, we'll look at all the metadata and we'll put it through machine learning like everybody else does and do all that modern jazz. And we get to maybe like 70%, 80% if we're really good at this. Confidence on whether someone will default. And it turns out when you go read all the literature, that's about the best anybody can do, is about 80%, and every 1% costs you, like, every 1% after that is just pulling teeth. It's really hard to get better than that. And then the guy says, okay, well, this was a foregone conclusion. I just went ahead and proved the rule for myself, go me. But what if we went ahead and used something like NLTK to process the plain text of people who ask why they needed a peer-to-peer loan, and those numbers just on really basic first-pass processing, where it was like single word cloud, sentiment analysis kind of stuff, the sort of thing that's like, oh, what can NLTK even do, hello world kind of stuff. And he was able to get close to 80% just on the plain text, without incorporating any metadata into it, which got my gears running in that I would love to use that in Eve as a way to start building a credit rating agency, where you could so you'd get the metadata from the pilot history endpoint that talks about, oh, this is how many jumps I made last year, or there's a bunch of activity metrics you can just get off of the Crest API. And And then you could do plain text analysis off of forum history or tweet history or Discord or Slack. I don't know about Jabber because you'd have to build a whole bot architecture into it. But you could use that plain text as a way to actually get from I just have a bunch of metadata and I don't know what it means to, well, I can at least start processing left and right to say, you know, thumbs up, thumbs down on these people with just plain text. Like if you can't use the right there, maybe we shouldn't give you money. And use it as like you put a rating next to it. You start like an ISK starter thing so people can commit money into the thing and try to train the computer off of that. That's a shitload of work, and I'm not going to fucking do it because, oh God. Because I'd want to go publish all the blogs about it, and then people would read how it was made, how the sauce was made, and they would just ruin the whole thing. It's like telling the criminals when the police are going to show up. So I never went through with it because there was no way I could keep enough of the secret sauce secret to make it work. But I've been frustrated because I've been wanting to do some of this language processing stuff because it's legitimately interesting. So that's my long-winded story as I try to kill time. If you want to know more, eveprosper.com. I have a blog up where. Oh, I'm sorry, loud noises. That's so sad. Can I send you beers? But just carpet bomb the place for more applications. The market's good. I don't know about particular industry or whatever, but people are dying for talent. At least out here. Don't let it get you down. It sucks. It's hard. I know that feels. So yeah, like I said, I put up information about the bot I just put up. It's on eveprosper.com. You can get the source code if you want to go mess with it. It's still stupid simple at the moment. I'll probably write more if I ever get more to it. I will be at Eve Vegas. Anybody who's just tuning in, this ugly idiot is going to be at Eve Vegas. You can come and say hi, high five. I'm not really a hugger, so please no. But I do love meeting fans. It's really amazing. Oh, that's a very good question. Seattle to Vegas is too far to drive, and it's only a couple hours flight. It's got to be like at least 12, probably 14 hours to drive. I did not read that correctly. Okay. Make sure that that's actually loaded into the thing, so I don't just... Okay. Life is good. So, before we get started, just a quick overview for anyone who's tuning in fresh. Again, I don't expect a bunch of new viewers this week because, again, it's Eve Vegas. There's way better news than this. Especially since I fucking broke my zKillboard stats. They're broken because ODBC is a fucking bitch, and I should have got rid of that dependency ages ago. So RIP zKillboard. Words. Right. So if you're new to the show, let me go ahead and run through the FAQ. Show runs about 45 minutes. We're going to go through all of the market news according to the tools. We'll go over Plex, we'll go over minerals, we'll go over fuel, and then we'll go through stuff that the computer thought was interesting. The code is written in Python. It's up in the GitHub. Links should be down in the doobly-doo. If they're not, I will link it. Graphs are made in R using ggplot for the custom graphs and QuantMod for the candlesticks. If you don't like the size of the titles in the candlesticks, too fucking bad. I can't fix it. QuantMod's a butthole. I tried to fix it. I'm sorry. And let's see what else. If you guys want to follow the show, the best way to do so is just remember Eve Prosper. That'll be Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and the blog. Twitter is the best way to get in touch with me. We're also on Slack, where we have the Prosper channel. Links to join are down below. That is the very best way to get in touch with me. You guys can still email me in-game. Just expect me to be abysmally slow to respond. Let's see. Anything else? Words. I had a brilliant idea of a thing to then tell you guys, and I forgot. Oh, right. Last thing. If you want to see me in Vegas, and our paths don't cross in the night, there will be a Prosper breakfast on Sunday in the hotel, in the Planet Hollywood Hotel. Let me make sure I get the name of the restaurant correct, because I don't want to screw that up. I mean, it's right there in the friggin' lobby, but, you know, there's like 10 restaurants in the lobby, so give me a sec. Yeah, okay, so the Prosper Breakfast, 8 a.m., we're going to the Planet Dailies. It's a bit of a hangover cure, talk about graphs, make up for the Paris night. Just try to get stuff done before the events actually start for the day. So Sunday morning, 8 o'clock. That's when we're doing the meetup. I don't know if anybody's going to show up. I would love if you do. And if you are, please tweet me or something, just so that I can ask for a large enough table, because I have no idea how many people to ask for. And we'll talk about this again when the show actually starts. Let's see. I don't know if we'll be on the air next week. We'll see. I gotta see when the next 07 show is and the setup for that, because there's gonna be, I think there's gonna be a quiet week, and I got a ton of work to do, so we're gonna have to juggle a bye week somewhere in the next 2 weeks. Anything else? Anything else that's important? Words. I don't need these anymore. Okay. Let's see. Make sure that we're actually up and going on all of the platforms. To whole 9 people. Ooh. Actually, we got 20 people. That's not bad. All right. So it's the top of the hour now. We'll give it just a minute more to get stuff going. Let me get the right button, that button. All right. Give me a sec to clear my throat. All right, and we start the recording just in case. Good evening. Let's try that one more time. Holy crap. let's do that with a little less crunch. Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Eve Prosper Market Show. I'm your host Lockefox, and I'm here with all of the market news for Eve Online right ahead of Eve Vegas. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into some quick show news. As I mess with stuff, one quick thing. Okay. All right. So, again, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Lockefox. This is the Eve Prosper Show. Some quick show news before we move on, like I always front load the show. First, if you want to follow us, don't forget we're at Eve Prosper. That's Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and our blog. We're on every Friday night at 0300. I believe that's moving back to 0100 after the time change this weekend, so keep tuned for that. Or the time change is a week away. I got to double check. So, but we should be the same regular time. 2, if you're at Eve Vegas, come say hi to me. Just really quick. I look like this. You should come to the show. Come say hi. I will, I'll be out and about on the show floor. We'll have K162 Space with me probably. I'd love to hear from fans of the show. So, yeah, this guy. Come see this guy. Quick little pieces of news. If you guys want to run into me at events, there is Mark Scaris, who is giving a talk about Eve Media, is going to have a bloggers meetup on Friday from noon to 3 at see, now I got to get my schedule correct. Oh, come on, phone, don't be that way. At Blondie's, that's in the so noon to 3 at Blondie's in the there's a mall attached to the Planet Hollywood. It'll be in there. So Noisy Gamer should be there. I will be there. Jane Fillion should be there. Web Spaceship should be there. So it's should be all of the Eve blogging people should all be there for you. I will be at the pub crawl, playing pinball. Really excited for that. Saturday, I have no idea what my plans are, so no promises. But Sunday morning, we are doing a Hangover Cure Prosper meetup, 8 a.m. in the Planet Dailies down in the Planet Hollywood. Come have Prosper breakfast with me. That's gonna be our main meetup for this show. If you're there, if you want to talk about graphs, if you just want to have, I think that their big thing is like Crazy Benedicts. That's where that'll be the official Prosper thing. Other than that, I look forward to seeing everybody at the thing. It's going to be a whirlwind trip tomorrow, but looking forward to it. Next piece of business, if you want to support the show directly, the very best way to do so is our Patreon. That's at patreon.com/EveProsper. Even $1 goes a very long way for us. It keeps it ad-free, on the air every week, pays for our server dues and our overhead fees, and makes this show, it guilt trips me on bad weeks. So I'm glad I have to say thank you to all of our patrons from the bottom of my heart. If you can't support, be sure to tell all of your friends about the best market show in Eve. DeLone Wolf. Wait, no. The Eve Prosper show. Let's see. And then the last piece of news is be sure to keep tuned to the blog. I'm looking forward to doing some new rollouts for Eve Prosper coming into the new year. And your best feed for new information will be on the blog at eveprosper.com. I'm hoping we can, I think you guys will like where we're going. It's about the only way I can figure out how to transition our audience to anything new, because there's no way you guys want to watch me fail at Rocket League. So with that, I hope to keep everybody appraised. There is putting together a Discord server. If you are a developer and you want to help some of the background of Eve Prosper, I can get you links. Otherwise, for fans of the show, please check out the Tweetfleet Slack. Links to join are down there. with that, now that I've blathered on about all of the background market stuff, and if you give me 2 more seconds to click the right buttons so that it actually shows up correctly on the screen, let's move on to the show. So, one piece of news that did come out just ahead of the show is that the Ascension release is being delayed, I believe, 1 week. They didn't really say, other than quality reasons, why it's been delayed. I'm hoping... So one piece that I know a lot of the Prosper fans have been annoyed about is that we still haven't seen the new rigs to test on the server. So there's, a lot of the mechanics are running, but you can't mess with the rigs. And this has brought consternation from a few of the fans of the show. So... I'm looking forward to it. Again, I keep saying that I'm going to go test it, and I just have completely run out of time to do so. So, sorry for not doing my due diligence. And also, when it comes to news, it's kind of a bad time to be announcing news because all of the news should come out tomorrow and Saturday. So, with that, let's just go right into the meat of it and talk about Plex. Or, freeze my freaking screen. Oh, because I started at the end of the show. Haha. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Right. And the laser pointer. All right, let's start where we always do, with Plex. Plex keeps rising. We're over 1.2, and the pressure looks strong. So just a forewarning to anybody who thinks that the good times will never end. Long streaks over the RSI line are not a good sign. So coming into Vegas, this is a unstable position, especially with news. And to be a shitheel analyst, it could go both ways. This tells me that there's a lot of upward pressure already in the market. And even if CCP comes in and says, all of your dreams will come true, you get a free car, and you get a whatever, you get a Titan, and you get a Titan. This just bodes that there's not a lot more up that we can go into. And if the news is at all bad, it could be, this is bubble territory. It's a weird spot to be predicting. We'll probably go up to 125, okay. So let me zoom before I go on my rant. So we've been seeing this exponential curve for the last few months, and as you can see, we get off of the line and we come back down, and we get up off the line and we come back down. And RSI is my guide on this one. These prolonged peaks at high activity are just bad news. Again, things could be just fine. Things could just go. But the truth of the matter is this is unstable as fuck. And I'd be doing a bad job if I didn't warn you that things could get bad. Now, things could also get good. They could go up to 1.3 and I could look like an idiot ahead of the release, but we probably hit 1.3 by the release, but this action is unstable. And the reason for the instability we can really see when we zoom in on the volumes. So for the last few weeks, we've been seeing really thin volumes for actual Plex out on the market, in the hundreds of Plex actually being able to be circulated. The prices are like at 1.25 right now, and if the bubble keeps growing, we could be at 1.3 pretty easily. But again, like I said, this is unstable. This is particularly weird. This still smells like a Plex sale coming up, and I don't know if this is real or not. And I think CCP has been asleep at the wheel for this because of Vegas preparations. So we will see. I kind of expect a Plex sale ahead of alphas releasing, but with alphas going an extra week out, we could see this party go to 1.3, 1.35, and just go, just be in bubble territory. So I think we're in for a crash. We're not in for a crash. Crash is the wrong word. Back to 1.2, probably. Up to 1.3, probably sometime in the next 2 weeks. Up to 135, man, if we go there, if somebody pushes the market there, like I'm looking at you, Pro Bag Bear, I'm going to feel like a real asshole, but I don't think that we're in a position to go there yet. Not ahead of Ascension, or not for another week or so. Looking at the RMT markets, again, this is a little bit interesting that I think we're a little out of skew here. Again, we're still seeing the same pattern hold, where extractors are a better bang for your buck for cashing in. We were seeing a bit of a lag here, but I think that's because my scales are a little screwed up. We're seeing this dip right here. So just so you guys know. Again, we still see a lot more strength than I ever expected in the resculpt certificates. And actually, I kind of expect this market to be interesting with alphas, that for all the things that are free, I kind of expect this to be a little bit more budding RMT market for new alphas coming to the thing, or people who are coming back from a long time away, who may want to use a resculpt. The total volume in this market is going to be abysmal, tiny, itty bitty. But if you're savvy and you're careful, I think that there's money to be made there. Next, now this one, again, I have to go look into some debug, because this doesn't look right. We're seeing the skill injector market just eke into that parity line over the last week. And so if you are a zombie farmer, stuff like this right here is your worst nightmare. We're still seeing volumes start to constrict to drive the prices up as when the spread gets really thin. But there's only so much time you can keep holding up the market. It's Herculean to say the least. I think these dips are an anomaly. I think this is a graphing error. I'm sure that I've screwed something up, because I would have said that in the last week's show. But like this particular touching is real bad if you're a zombie farmer. But with the constriction in supply, we're seeing a bump in prices, and I still think skill injectors are a good market to be in coming alphas. But it's still going to be a shaky, crystal ball cloudy, ask again later kind of thing. So I think more of these will get consumed, but I don't know if that's going to balance out the new floor of 0 for startup cost for starting up a zombie farm. So 50-50, it's really hard to judge from here exactly where we'll land. But hitting 700 by Ascension, I think is a reasonable target, as long as the volume stays constricted. I would be waiting for us to get over the 1K units on the market. If I were going to go jump in, I think there's some peaks like this that can be used to great effect to get some better prices. But I think there's heat in this market, especially with a rising Plex, to make a quick buck in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Moving on to market indexes, we just have the net trade index this week because I broke one of the things that makes the thing go. So no Z killboard stats this week. Running an update right now to try and fix it, but it's going to take like an hour, and we just don't have that kind of time. Again, we're still seeing anemic numbers down in the ship trading market, and the glut in mineral supply is starting to fall. But the rest of the market is looking relatively healthy. Again, it sort of looks like we're on hold ahead of Eve Vegas, and this particular weakness is just a little a bit of an anomaly. We'll see. I'm really interested to watch this. To watch all these generalized stats actually in the October report. because with the casinos getting shut down and the news going around the way it is, we're seeing that for as much news as we've been generating, we have not been generating a lot of economic activity, if I may be so pretentious. We're not seeing a lot of big fights, though. Looks like Galente Faction Warfare is spinning up. We're not seeing we're just not seeing a lot of content being generated. And I even with Bloody Harvest, it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of player-on-player friction going on at the moment, and that just means there's not a lot of heat to talk about in the market. Moving on to minerals, let's get started with titanium, which is up slightly. Again, the scales are a little bit washed out here, so let's go ahead and zoom in. We're looking at around 6.4 as a peak. Again, we're seeing the volumes are a little bit anemic at the 5 billion mark. I do expect the volumes to track up to maybe the 7.5 billion mark with Ascension, but I think that's going to be a low and slow to get there. And I don't know if the price is really going to move, because I still expect the consumption to rise to match that extra trit supply. So staying at a 6.2, 6.4 is basically my expectation here. Next, pyrite is down this week, though it's looking like it's a reasonable time to buy, just off this chart at 8.8. And if we look, we're seeing a little bit of extra supply, but nothing like really that big. I actually expect pyrite to get hit a little bit harder with Ascension, but I think that this 9.0 price can hold. Can hold into Ascension, and again, it's going to be a low, slow grind as minerals start coming to market in a bit of excess. Again, I'm having a really hard time really nailing this down, thanks to I don't know how many people are really going to go running out there with Roar Quals, and I don't know how much of these low ends are really going to hit the market. But I think this is going to be in for a bit of a slump down under 8.5 towards 8.0 after Ascension. Next, Mexilon, which has been our darling, and I told you guys last week to sell, has started to slump under the 70 mark. And if we zoom in, looks like the party is basically over. I was kind of hoping for another spike up to 75 the weekend after the thing. It's just that like I kind of expected this to be a double, and it didn't double. So we're seeing the constriction in supply start to ease. Again, if you didn't sell out and 70 is not a good enough price, it might be worth holding on to Ascension. It's risky. You're kind of gambling there, but if you got to make the money, it's not the worst play you could make. Yeah, so I don't know if we're going to hit that low of supply again, but it's at least an interesting thing if you're a speculator and you're not at Eve Vegas. This would be a really good one to just be watching during the Twitch stream, and really watch for the volumes to drop out. If the volumes drop out, we're going to hit 75 easy. But if the volumes don't move off of the 500 million mark, I think that you're stuck with a 70 price. Moving on to Isogen, and to reply to a comment on YouTube last week, I have been saying for 3 months now that my long-term target for Isogen is 100, and that's a very long-term target. I think it's just because that we're seeing an oversupply and a lack of demand has put a little bit too much downward pressure in this market. But at 82, that's a really long climb to make, and I don't know if we're ever going to hit that 100 I've been talking about this year. I was kind of expecting the supplies to stay down near this 500 million mark, and we've started tracking up. Prices are down under 75 on buy orders. I would actually be watching this one again for the Twitch stream. If you can get in under the 75 mark on a buy order, there's a 10 ISK spread going on there, which is not terrible. That's better than your 10%. So if you're really careful and you're really prudent, and you're aiming for as close to 70 as you can get it, this might not be terrible. But it's risky, and I would not give the faint of heart this particular buy. Noxium is another weird one. It's been fluctuating with a downward direction, in my opinion, for the last few months, but we've seen a little bit of heat come into the market at 440. We're tracking down again. Volumes are starting to slump because I think we may have been over speculated. We're seeing a big glut of supply come to the market, which, if you can get under 400, again, is not a terrible buy-in, but that means your target's in that 450 range, and it's risky. It's another risky bet, but no risk, no reward. I just don't think the spread is good enough. The prospects are good enough, especially with the Rorquals coming out, that there's time to play it in the next week, 2 weeks, I think. If you're really prudent with your buy orders, if you're doing your due diligence to maybe do some arbitrage, I think there are some opportunities here. And if you do this, I would really love to hear about it. But it's going to be it's a lot of work for your 10 or 15%. And I don't know how much money you can really wash through this. At what? We're going to make 50 ISK, and there's something like 50 million of these moved a day. So 5 billion is the entire market. Maybe you could make $1 billion. That's not a terrible... risky. It could be done, but you could also lose $1 billion. So be careful. Play your arbitrage smart. You could probably make $1. Zydrene was holding at 1K. We saw last week, we saw this nice stable holding pattern. But as I said, I expected us to crash under the 1K mark, and we're heading towards 950s. So that dam broke spectacularly. Which is a little bit interesting that the candlesticks are so dire, given that we're not really seeing the glut in supply to really match the doomsaying. This looks like somebody panicking and burning off their stocks more than anything real. Supplies are tracking up, and I think once we hit Ascension, this number is going to double, which is going to knock us down to probably 800. So I would not speculate in Zydrene at all. I would stay the hell away from this with a 10-foot pole. If you have Zydrene, get rid of it. Burn that stuff. Throw it into the sun, because it's not going to be worth much more once Ascension hits. And Megasite, again, was showing another holding pattern, trying to stay above 1100, but last weekend just took it on the mouth. And we're skirting the 1000 mark here. Again, similar story. We don't quite see the volume to tell this story. Like, if this particular oversupply didn't drop us too bad, like, we're oversupplied. We're absolutely oversupplied. But in this, I sort of just expect a driving downward force rather than a spiky stair-step kind of force. But again, I still expect this number to double once Ascension hits, and that is going to be terrible news, and we're going to be under the 1K mark, again, heading towards 800. So if you have Megasite, again, burn that shit too. Things are going to get bad. Next, Morphite, which I gave a tentative buy last week, and not the greatest call I've ever made. We're still under the 9K mark, 9.5K mark, and I still expect this to be a buy in the longer term, because again, sub 10K is my bar on this one. We're still seeing a lot of supply, but I don't expect this to have as much doubling thanks to the Rorqual change, because if I remember correctly, and please call me out if I'm wrong on this one, The new mining drones will not be able to do mercroxit, and that's the only thing that yields more fights. So even though I expect the supply to rise slightly, one, alphas can't use it. Two, the supply, I believe, is reasonably capped. And three, I think that the price will rebound once anybody starts actually fighting each other and stops having a big blue donut. At sub 8.5 into this weekend, I mean, this is a great buy opportunity at sub 9K. I just can't tell you when you get to sell. And you could be holding on to this for 3 months or longer. You could be holding on to this until May before you see the 10K you're looking for. So you could make a good chunk of change. It's just a matter of when. And I do not have a frontier on that. So this is not really a strong buy unless you really want to go stash cash in something that isn't Plex. Moving on to fuel. Fuel markets continue to not do what I think they should do, in that we still see nitrogen isotopes holding above 800. With the new engineering platforms, I still expect nitrogen to take a good dip down to 750, and I still expect reasonable strength thanks to Rhea usage. Oh, excuse me, 1 second. I still expect nitrogen isotopes to be used in reasonable amounts thanks to Rhea's, but I do expect a bunch of industrial POSs to come offline and move over to the new engineering platforms. And when they do that, you can use any fuel. And why wouldn't you use a MAR fuel, for instance, with an isotope price of 600? So I think this is going to put downward pressure on ICE. If you're invested in ICE, I would get out of it. I mean, looking at this, the helium isotope market is reasonably good to make a quick buck. But it's a risky position. It's just like how much further below 600 can it really go? But never underestimate the power of miners to destroy their own margins. Looking at blocks, nothing super interesting here other than Galente fuel blocks being at parity with Caldari ones. This looks a little bit like extra weakness in the Caldari blocks, which might be part of the precipitous fall of nitrogen. Fingers crossed. But I have no reason not to think that the prices will just stay the way they are until Ascension hits. Again, zooming in on the rest of our ice markets, heavy water was interesting a few weeks back when it was figured out that it was going to be part of the new booster charges. But we've seen supply actually rise to meet the demand, and it looks like the market's going to hold where it is. So if you were bought into heavy water, I'm sorry, the party's over. And then strontium, which we watch to make sure nobody's fighting, because if they're about to fight, you'd expect them to stockpile a bunch of stront. Looking a little bit strong, going over the 8K mark again. Again, I think I said a couple of weeks back that sub 8K was a good buy. If I did, then I'm brilliant. If I didn't, then I'm just a jerk who's trying to be revisionist. Volumes are looking relatively stable. This dip right here, we're going to talk about that when we get to the outliers. I think that somebody might be stocking up for a fight, but it is not a strong signal. So we'll talk about that in a bit. Moving on to outliers, let's go ahead and start where we always do in advanced materials. Nanotransistors are spiking, but I think the price will hold. This is a decent place to be looking for a buy, just in case you might be interested. Metamaterials are tracking down, which is kind of sad. Ferrogel is starting to lose some heat, which is not good for my dysprosium. My dysprosium idea that the prices would come back. Also, fermionic condensates are tracking way down and are actually a decent buy right this second, but we'll see if that holds. Moving into ships, we're going to go ahead and forget to put... No, I know where I put it. Never mind. Okay. Moving on to ships, we're going to talk about one other thing later because I'm good at this. The party on Svipples is over. I know I said this a couple weeks back, and you didn't believe me. But it looks like there is a mad dash to liquidate Svipples ahead of Eve Vegas. This is terrible news if you're holding Svipples. This is going to get worse before it gets better. And I think that by Ascension, we're going to see them back at parity with the rest of the T3Ds. The Macarial was a little bit interesting this week that there was a spike here. So the price spiked, but the supply didn't really move, which is a strange piece of behavior. You'd usually expect to see a big drop in supply here, but we didn't really see that. So I don't know if this was somebody dropping out of the market unexpectedly or a flub or what the heck. The Gila. So I was going through this before the show, and I was under the impression that I told you guys to buy it, and then I went through my notes and I didn't tell you to buy it, and I feel like an asshole. I think I talked about this last week that I thought that this spike was going to be short term, just because of the Alliance tournament and some heat around those metas. But supplies are weird. This particular pattern in supplies is strange, very strange. Supplies are staying low at the 100 mark. Looks like there might be a little bit of cartelling going on, keeping these off the market more so than more demand really driving things. So if you have Gilas, it's a great chance to sell them. But I don't know how long this party can last when we were at twice the supply just a few weeks ago. And so this is the... Oh, and I'm being told by chat that the Gila is great for running Blood Raider sites, so El Wapo, thank you for that, because I don't know anything about the meta. So this is part of my weird speculation. This is my tinfoil hat that... so we're seeing Purifiers spike with YC 118.9. We're seeing Flycatchers start to track up and Heretics start to track up in prices. This week, we saw the spike in the reset in Strontium and a big constriction in bomb launchers in the market, causing a spike. So this is my tinfoil that somebody might be looking to stir the pot once alphas come out. But I don't know who, and I don't know if it's actually real. Again, the volumes are so thin here that this is an easy one to screw up. Again, this is really like this is this real tinfoil trying to be like, oh, that Flycatchers are up and Heretics are up, and well, ignore the Saber and the Eris, because I mean nobody flies Sabers, right? So like these are interesting signals. I don't know who is doing it. I don't know if it's a thing. I might just be totally out of my element with the meta, but I think somebody might be preparing for an operation in November, maybe in December. So we will keep an eye out for that. Moving on to our prediction review, where we go over last week's stuff. So I caught a bunch of flack from the live chat during last week's show that, oh, Quaff Zero is going to come roaring back because of the Blood Raider event, and everyone was like, haha, that idiot doesn't understand that Quaff Zero isn't dropping in the Blood Raider event. And then I got to this slide and I got to feel like a super genius where I was like, haha, it's down and it's a great buy. And that did not last very long. So if you jumped in on that and you made a buck, I would love to hear it, because I did not expect this particular shape. This is super strange. It looks like somebody may have reactivated an account and tried to sell it off for some quick cash. But like, that made me feel super, super smart that like right there. What's that? Oh, this one's hard. 5% right there. Yeah. But looks like the action's over. We're not seeing Quaff Zero come to market during the event, but man, did I feel smart managing to hit that dart right on the bullseye. The other weird one is the Elite Drone AI, which was tracking up thanks to the new. They are the new mining drones. Big buyout. Once the news hit, prices are tracking up. I think 4 million is a reasonable target, but I think that our supplies are going to get matched up here pretty quick. We might see another land grab ahead of Ascensions, so if you're watching your buy orders really closely, there might be some opportunities to jump in, but it's going to be a hard one to execute on, and there's not a ton of room left in the market to make a bunch of money. I do expect a spike up, maybe up to a little bit over 4 million on Ascension, just like the couple of days before and after. But it's risky. It's I will pat myself on the back if I'm right, but I really don't think I'm going to be right on this one. Violence report. No violence report this week because I screwed up the math. The database is screwed up. My fault. We have the data. I just ODBC, man. I could rant about that for another hour. So with that, we're going to go ahead and end the show. I've been your host, Lockefox. This has been the Eve Prosper Show. Once again, thanks everybody who tuned in live. I expected this to be a really quiet show, thanks to Eve Vegas, but a lot of you guys showed up. Thank you so much for coming to see the show live. If you're in Eve Vegas, again, you want to look for this guy here. I'll even give you a whole zoom in on the thing. Real professional there, dude. That one. That one. That one. Yeah. You're looking for this guy. I will be there. I have a 7 a.m. flight, so I don't know why I'm streaming to you guys. But I will be at Eve Vegas bright and early tomorrow. We'll be at Reg, and then there's, like I said at the start of the show, we will be at Scaris's Eve Blogger meetup at, hold on, I can never remember the name of the place. We will be at Scaris's meetup at Blondie's in the mall at the Planet Hollywood from noon to 3. I don't know what we're doing Saturday. I will be at the pub crawl on Friday night. Don't know what we're doing Saturday. There is the Prosper breakfast on Sunday morning, 8 o'clock at Planet Dailies. Those are the best times to meet me. If you see me, if you see this at Eve Vegas, please come say hi. I do love meeting you guys. It means I can't even explain how much it means to meet fans in the wild. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end the show here. I want to thank the fact that I can't press buttons correctly. I want to thank everybody who tuned in live. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. If you want to support us directly, the very best way to do so is our Patreon at patreon.com/EveProsper. Even $1 goes a long way. It keeps us ad-free on the show, on the air every week. Keeps us in server hardware. Like, it keeps the lights on, and I can't thank our patrons enough. And if you want to chat with me directly, the very best way to do so is at the Tweet Fleet Slack. Links to join are in the doobly-doo down below. With that, we're going to end the show. Again, I'm your host, Lockefox. We will be back next week, probably, with another great live show of Eve Market Analysis. And with that, that's a show. That button. New webcam, by the way. Come on, there we go. Oh, I remember why I did it, because it's like that. But we're going to do that, because I'm a professional who's very good at this. That's... But yeah, you can come see this guy at Eve Vegas. I will be there. I have no idea how live I will be tomorrow. And I'm sure I will be a complete zombie Saturday, but I'm looking forward to Sunday for sure. That's a show. That was a show. Not a bad show. I was actually expecting that to go really badly because I thought I wasn't very well prepared. I did talk about Straught earlier. I should have put it all together. I'm bad. Yeah, Twitch chat is talking about the Blood Raider boosters, and so I can't track those on the show because they can't. Last time they couldn't be sold on the open market, so I have no way to automate it, and no automation means no graphs. So yeah, the prices do they spike up, they ebb off, and then they crash like a rock. But the thing is that they have a drop dead date, so it would be. I mean, you go in and you stock up on them. They're worth they're a pretty decent boost. They survive potting, is the actual really nice thing for PvPers. But yeah, it's a thing. Oh, it was 7 a.m. flight tomorrow. It's an hour to the fucking airport. Oh, and I don't have them in here, so you can't see them. But I have ID badges for the show, and the only thing I feel bad is that I wish I was making one for Gabby. If I knew they were going, I would have made them a thing, and I feel bad. Let's see. We're gonna have to stop this at the top of the hour, by the way, because I still got to finish packing, and I got to get to bed because I'm a giant man child. I can't deal with not having enough sleep. Yeah, quote. I'm a giant man child. Oh no! Don't. You got to believe in Dirk. That man is a machine. Not until Sunday. Then he'll be a complete zombie. But he's definitely high energy. Like Reddit today, this evening. Reddit, so high energy. Is it still high energy? Oh, they stopped brigading. Cute. Anyway, can't wait for the election to be over. So fucking sick of it. But I've been getting through books. The bad election news means I'm actually getting through books. Thanks to Audible. I got through Stephen King's On Writing, which is excellent. It's a pretty quick read. And the audiobook is hilarious. If you like writing at all, that's like my go-to style guide. And I'm thanks to Blake, I'm going through A Random Walk Down Wall Street, which is making me want to just throw all this shit into a goddamn fire. Because I've been listening to 2 fucking chapters of charting is a waste of time. Which I'm like, oh, but charting is what I do. I have computers, and I don't even want to make a lot of money. I don't even want to beat the market. I just want to play. Sad. We'll see. Just put all my money into an index fund and sell the speculation as entertainment. let's see. I wonder if my installer actually finished. Nope, still repairing tables because never update Ubuntu with MySQL running. It's a fucking shit show. But I have been enjoying, having my chair break. I'm hoping to bring some streaming equipment to the show. I don't know if I'll get a chance to stream because my laptop is a Mac and I don't even know how to stream on that bastard. So we'll see. What else? Again, I'm all sad that, like, I've been writing all of these Python dev blogs and nobody cares. And the one I published today, like, nobody is going to read. Not even Rainer, who's usually pretty good about responding to my dev blog posts. So sad. So sad. Made a cool robot. It understands sentiment analysis. I'm so smart. How many times do I have to tell you how smart I am? I don't know. I love Python. It's freaking amazing. And my boss wants me to go write. So he's trying to egg me into doing a talk at PyCon, which I'd love to do. I just don't know if I'm interesting enough. Probably about virtual environment, but I got to get the bootstrapping done. I want to write a whole series of shit they don't teach you on Stack Overflow Python blogs, because that's been the one frustration since starting the new job, is that learning to write Pythonically makes my life better, but like learning to write it correctly, good Python's not written like any other language is the problem. And there's a whole bunch of tools that make it a lot easier. Like I just got my head around PyTest this week. I finally figured out how to write setup.pys reasonably, but like all of those things were just huge jungle crossing hatchet jobs to figure out what the fuck was going on. And I mean, Stack Overflow answers your question, but like it's an unhelpful sibling. It tells you exactly the answer and none of the pitfalls. So, you know, what is your question? This is my question. Then, oh, here's the answer. And you walk out of the room, but you should watch out for the snakes. And yeah, and then you get bit by the snakes. So like writing my first setup.py was a bitch and a half, but now that I know whatever the pattern is, they're easy. They're rote. Getting a linter integrated was a real pain in the ass to start, but now that I have linting integrated, my style, I'm writing far more consistent code. What was another weird thing? Virtual environments was another thing. Service installing was a thing. PyTest is now a thing. Dependency management is another thing. Like, these are all easy to solve. It's just that if you come from another language, you skip right to the solving problems and you skip right past the how to write Python Pythonically. So, and good Python code just sings. Like, it's beautiful. So yeah, like one of the lessons I had to go learn, and I am going to write a blog about this because I think it's important, and no one else will give a shit, is that like the Python logger is amazing. Like I don't use debug prints anymore because I've integrated enough handlers into my preferred logging thing so that log just works. So the log prints debug statements to standard out, and it prints logs to the log file. I've attached in a thing that puts alerts out to chat rooms if things go wrong. Like, the Python logger is amazing, and like the way I was doing it, and the way that a whole bunch of coming to Python as a second language kind of guys do it, is that you go and you write your program. You got debug prints everywhere, and you're running command lines, or you're running in a bunch in PyCharm or something like that, and then after your program's like complete, then you go through and you sprinkle in all the logging, which is shitty, right? Like, you expect to remember where all the logs go. You're going to go change all the prints to all the right levels. It's a pain in the ass. But if you write logs first and you just use that, then life is so much easier. But it's not inherently obvious. And like right now I'm wrestling with a bug in one of my handlers that it doesn't do the file handle rotation correctly. And I know it's like a one-line problem, and I just haven't been able to dig in for it. But I'm hoping, like, that's part of the transition that we're going into, is that I'm running out of time to do this show, but I still like doing the dev fleet stuff. Like, I really like doing the dev fleet stuff. And I'm hoping to do more Python content. So I know I'm going to lose like half of my audience for this, but we will see. Okay. Yep. And my only problem with Perl is that other people's Perl is awful. And 6-month-old Perl is awful. But yeah. And right now I'm not like... So I've been... Another sin I've been trying to get over is that I love MySQL because of Workbench. Like, the only reason I use MySQL is because Workbench is amazing. If you don't know SQL very well and you want to be able to quickly debug stuff, and you want to just have, like, throw it in there and it's there and I'll deal with querying it later. Yeah, MySQL's Workbench is amazing for managing MySQL. And I just haven't found anything as good. Like, if you do SQLite, Firefox has a built-in extension, and it's okay. It's not inherently obvious. I haven't messed with Postgres at all. But SQL is SQL in my opinion, except for SQLite, which I have some opinions about. I don't love the query language on SQLite. But the thing I'm trying to go figure out, and I don't want to figure it out because managing this stuff is just the worst, is MongoDB for object stores, so that I can replicate one-to-one zkillboard essentially, and just do the processing on my own local box, instead of trying to stream it inline from the Mongo style that it comes in on and sparsing it out to all of the SQL endpoints it goes to. So also it means I can go do neat things with a NoSQL store. Again, it's been a thing that most of Eve's data is really well served by regular SQL, because it fits in a spreadsheet. If it can go in a spreadsheet, it can go in SQL. And that's not the way most of the rest of the data in the world works. Like, you're spoiled by Eve data because it's so regular and normal. You don't have to do any transposition. You just have to get it into the table. Okay, map data maybe. But actual map databases scare the shit out of me. So I've been blathering. I don't know how many people are still watching because that's the one thing that sucks in XSplit. Holy shit, there's a lot of you guys still watching me ramble. I have no idea. Like, I'm just filling air at this point. I'm going to have to end the show here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. Again, we got like 5 minutes is what we've got left. Again, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody at the thing. What else? Looking forward to the Vegas thing. Looking forward to getting out of town. Yeah. Nothing. Nothing really. Dooba dooba dooba. Nothing? Really? We're gonna end the show here. Thank you everybody who tuned in. It's been a great show. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody at Vegas. I'm going to go finish getting packed and go to sleep and try not to think too much about how much the Uber tomorrow is going to cost. So thank you everybody who tuned in. We will be back next week, probably.